Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is a completely different video than I've ever done before. This is a video showing everything that I bought at Bass Pro today. And let me tell you, I got a lot of stuff. We're going to go through everything I got and why I got it. We are going to start off with swim baits. This time of year, being early spring, swim baits can be really good. These specifically are swim baits that I'm going to be throwing on an A-rig. This is usually the A-rig that I use. This is the Umbrella Flash Mob Junior, but I ended up picking up the 6 cents one, which I think I'm really gonna like. It looks like it's built better and it's about the same price. Of course, we've got like the OG original swim bait, like rib style that everyone knows and loves. We got these in the 3.8 little natural electric shed color. Got the same ones, just in a 2.8. I also picked up some Crush City Mayors, which are really pretty good on an A-rig. I've used them a couple times and they've worked out pretty good. And then also got some bigger size of them Crush City Mayors. Moving on, let's talk about some shallow water crankbaits that I picked up. Alright, so I've got a lot of crankbaits, so bear with me. The reason why we've got all this stuff is me and my dad on a team series in the Nichols Marine this year, so we needed a lot of different lures. That's why we picked up so much stuff, just so we knew we were prepared for every situation. Crankbaits are really good for him to throw off the back of the boat because I tend to be scoping up front. So that's why we have so much crankbaits. So let's just go through a couple of my favorite crankbaits that I throw when I am throwing them. The Spur Rock Crawler is probably one of my favorite kind of finesse-y crankbaits. I love their colors. That's a good color for the springtime. You know, the OG Wiggle Wart we picked up. Had to throw in some square bills there. I like that color for the Strike King Elite series. Some more rock crawlers from Spro. I really like that color with the orange on the tip of the bill. This is probably my favorite color. This is watermelon with a red bottom. They didn't have it at the time in the rock crawler. So I went with the Series 3 Strike King, which is a good substitution for the rock crawler. It's about that same profile, probably a little bit different swim action, but another great crankbait to substitute for a rock crawler. Got some a little bit deeper diving rock crawlers, same color patterns, kind of the same color pattern Wiggle Warts. Picked up some square bill crankbaits from 6 cents. And then, never tried this, but the flat-sided crankbait, which is kind of like I think the Little John from Spro. Kind of the same style. Picked that up. Another rock crawler right there for y'all. Picked up one of these. Just, Dad wanted to grab a cool color, so that's what we got right there. Never tried this Megabass S crank before. I really like this color for like murky water or stained water, so we're definitely going to try this out. It's definitely interesting looking. Never used it before, but I think I'm really going to like it. This is a cool color that Strike King, I guess, has come out with because I have not seen it before, but this is an Elite at 3XD. I guess that's an Elite color. See if I can't get it shown just a little bit better. It's kind of just like a chartreuse with a black back, but it's got a little bit of like a little bit different design, which is kind of interesting. I kind of like that. So that is it for shallow water crankbaits. Now let's move on to deep water crankbaits. All right, so got a couple different varieties of crankbaits here. Majority of the ones we got is none other than the 6 cents 300 DD, which I think is a great crankbait. This is the equivalent to like a Strike King 6XD. About the same size and same profile. Just got a little bit extra features on it that I like better than the Strike King ones. Kind of like the 3D gill plate, and they just look a little bit better quality to me. 6XD is still a great one. It's the OG, but I picked up some of these 6 cents ones because I tend to like these a little bit better. This is a 6XD from Strike King, the Elite series, and that color I was talking about earlier, I really like that color, so I had to pick one up in the 6XD. Here's another color that's kind of another imitator of this Sexy Shad. I really like that color as well. Another one of those Sexy Shad imitators. Just a really good natural crankbait. Now, probably my favorite one I got out of all of them is this one right here. It's a little bit more brighter line for the Sexy Shad and a little bit of blue. I really like that color. And then had to grab a bigger 8XD. And then another Strike King 6XD. So that is all for the deep cranks. Now let's move on to some of the spinner baits that I got. All right, so I got some variety here in the spinnerbaits as well. Obviously, for Oklahoma, the War Eagle spinnerbaits are the way to go. But I saw some ones that I really liked, so I picked some of those up as well. But here's the finesse ones that I picked up. Really enjoy these, especially for this time of year. A couple months, the spinnerbaits are really going to be key, I think. And then also, I've never used Z-Man spinnerbaits before. I've always used their chatterbaits, but these Luke Clausen spinnerbaits look really good, so I had to pick up some of those. And then also had to pick up a Booyah. When I was young and pond fishing, that's all I used was Booyah spinnerbaits because that's what my dad used. So I had to pick one of those up. And then obviously for murky water, we got the orange blade, big Colorado blades, chartreuse, and a white with a little bit of chartreuse. Had to pick those up. All right, let's move on to probably one of my favorite ways to fish, and that is the jerkbait. Now, this is the only thing that there's not going to be a variety on here. If I'm throwing a jerkbait, 9 times out of 10, it's a megabass. Not even that, 9.9 times out of 10, it's going to be a megabass jerkbait. Honestly, when I was young, I saw the jerkbaits at Bass Pro, the megabass ones, locked up, and I was like, $25 for a jerkbait? That's insane. But nothing's going to beat the megabass jerkbaits. With the hardware they come with, the hooks are great, and just their action is superior to any other jerkbait, I believe. Here are the jerkbaits that I picked up. Oh, see those? I absolutely love this color. This is a new color from Megabass. Really nice color. Kind of like a jerkbait, but not really. New from Strike King this year. This is kind of like the Credge, but the difference is this has a metal bill instead of a plastic one. And why I picked this up is because I liked the Credge, but the wire did not go all the way through the bill. It's only at the tip of the bill. So I was like, is this gonna break if I like catch a big fish on this? Lo and behold, I had a tournament on 10 killer. First fish I caught broke the bill clean off. Literally broke the fish off. All I reeled in was the bill of that lure. So never brought a Credge again. But Strike King has come out with the this is the Evader, and it's got a metal bill, as you can see. So I like that a whole lot more. And I think this is going to be really fun to use, especially since I like throwing a jerkbait a lot. Moving on, let's talk about some chatterbaits. Now, if you've got grass and reeds like I do in one of my favorite favorite lakes close to me, chatterbaits are awesome. I'm not really the guy to throw a chatterbait on like a rocky bank with no grass, but people do throw them, and I probably need to learn how to do that, to be honest. For those kinds of situations, I usually like to throw a crankbait or like a shaky head or something. For this time of year coming up, chatterbait is a really great option. This is the Evo. This is not the jackhammer, and I've heard rumors that this might be even better than the jackhammer now. Might pick some of these Evos up, give them a try. I really enjoy these. All right, so moving on, something else that is new from Rapala Crush City is the Janitor. This is probably my favorite color that I use for this time of year. It's plum or red. I think it's called Blue Fleck or something like that. This is one of my favorite colors right there. It's like a plum red color with blue fleck. Absolutely love this color. Never tried the Janitor before. This is a brand new bait from Crush City this year or last year, like a couple months ago. So you already know I had to pick up a couple of these bad boys in all different colors. These I'm going to be using for shaky heads and drop shots. I'm going to be using these for. These are really good for this time of year as well. All right, so we're getting down to the kind of the hardware stuff, and then we're going to talk about the rods that I got. These are some of the hooks that I got just for the A-rig, stuff like that. Also, you can shake a minute with these right here. These are pretty good. These are my favorite shaky head hooks. This is the Owner Ultra Head. Had to pick some of those bad boys up for the Janitor. And then this right here. I got 2 loose speed spool in a 6:8 to 1 gear ratio, and got a Corrado in a 6.2 to 1 gear ratio. I'm super excited. Never used a Corrado before. This is actually my dad's, but you know, I'm gonna have to steal it and use it sometimes. This is gonna be paired up with the 710 rod that we got for deep cranking, for all those deep crankbaits that we got. This is the 6-2-1 Shimano Corrado. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. Never had a Shimano bait caster before. It's not really mine, it's my dad's, but you know I'm gonna have to steal it. Let's go ahead, while we got the reel out, let's grab the rod that it's gonna go on. So the rod that the Corrado is going on is a 7'10" Carbon Light Black. This is brand new from the Johnny Morris Carbon Light series. They got a redesigned handle, same as the white ones, but now it comes in black, which I really like because there's, on the other ones that are white and red, there's paint on here, which makes them a lot heavier. Super light, so I really like these. So you know we had to pick this up for a good quality rod that doesn't break the bank, paired with a absolutely phenomenal reel. So let's talk about the other two reels that I got. These two reels are identical, so I'm just gonna show you one because it would be kind of pointless. So are the rods. This is the loose speed spool. This is a 6:8-to-1 gear ratio. I already had one of these in a 7.5 that I used for jerk baits. I actually made a video on that one, and the video was basically why this is the best $100 reel on the market. If you want to see that video, the link is in the description below. So the rod this speed spool is going on is another black Carbon Light, but this is a 7-foot medium heavy moderate action rod. What this is going to be used for is large square bill crankbaits and spinner baits. So I really needed a combo that was better for spinner baits. I definitely have rods that you can throw a spinnerbait on. This is just going to be a lot more ideal. So I think I'm really going to like this combo for cranking. I really think I'm going to like this combo for square bills, larger square bills, and spinnerbaits. So I had to pick up two of those bad boys. So the line I'm going to be throwing on all of these poles that I got is Seaguar Red Label. That's the only thing I use. Again, shout out to Keith Allen for putting me on the Seaguar Red Label. Absolutely love it. I use all different poundage. From the 20 pound to 8 pound. I use Red Label for everything, my main line and leader line. All right guys, so that wraps up everything that we got from Bass Pro. If you want a chance to win one of these lures, a nice lure, it's not gonna be like just a hook, it's gonna be a nice lure from the pile, leave a comment below and make sure you subscribe, and we'll see y'all guys in the next one.
They say I wouldn't do it like I won't. They say I couldn't do it and they feel. They say I wouldn't do it and I fall. They say I couldn't do it and I did. I'm a champion.